10 powerful marriage commitments, defining the union of spouses as one flesh. Marriage is a sacred union that goes far beyond physical attraction, sweet words, or fleeting romantic feelings. It is a covenant rooted in God's design, guided by His principles and purposes for a blessed and lasting partnership. The journey of marriage is not meant to be a trial or temporary amusement. It is a lifetime commitment to becoming one flesh with your spouse, sustained by deliberate devotion and conscious effort. The Bible provides a strong foundation for marriage, and by following its guidance and honoring key commitments, couples can experience the joy and fulfillment that God intended for this sacred relationship. In this video, we will explore 10 powerful commitments that define the union of spouses as one flesh. Commitment 1. Living together. The Bible tells us, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." Genesis 2:18. Marriage is, first and foremost, about living together and sharing a life. This commitment requires that spouses not only reside under the same roof, but also create an environment where they are present for each other physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Marriage means becoming a companion and helper to your spouse, honoring the commitment to be there in every sense. Spouses should avoid situations where one partner is left to bear the family responsibilities alone. While virtual communication can be helpful, it cannot replace the significance of face-to-face interactions. Physical presence fosters connection and intimacy, making the home a refuge where both partners feel valued and supported. In today's world, filled with virtual interactions and distractions, it is important to disconnect from digital spaces and prioritize time spent together. Distance caused by work, education, or other obligations can threaten this commitment. Couples must be vigilant and make wise decisions that do not compromise their relationship. Create routines that prioritize physical closeness, such as shared meals, evening walks, or weekend activities. Let your spouse always feel your presence in their life. Commitment 2. Leaving your parents. As written in Scripture, "Therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother, and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." Genesis 2:24. Leaving parents and forming a new family unit does not imply abandoning or neglecting them. It means establishing a clear boundary where your marriage becomes the primary relationship. Honoring parents and family members is important, but a new balance must be struck. This commitment requires spouses to prioritize each other's needs over the expectations or demands of extended family. Independence in decision-making and focusing on the well-being of the immediate household should take precedence. It can be challenging to navigate family dynamics and cultural expectations. Communicate boundaries kindly but firmly to family members, and involve your spouse in your decisions, making sure you present a united front. Commitment 3. Contentment with your spouse. The Bible encourages contentment, saying, "Godliness with contentment is great gain." 1 Timothy 6:6. And the Apostle Paul expresses this attitude further. "I have learned, in whatever state I am, to be content." Philippians 4:11. Marriage involves choosing to appreciate and be fully satisfied with your spouse's unique qualities, rather than comparing them to others or doubting the choice you made. This commitment ensures that love and admiration remain strong and prevents harmful habits of criticism and discontent from taking root. Contentment in marriage requires a conscious effort to celebrate your spouse's strengths, accept their weaknesses, and cultivate an atmosphere of encouragement. Without contentment, the tendency to compare can lead to dissatisfaction and strife. External influences, such as social media, can create unrealistic standards that undermine contentment. Regularly remind yourself of why you fell in love with your spouse and express gratitude for the qualities that make them special. Praise them for their efforts, big or small. Commitment. 4. Honoring and loving your spouse. The Bible commands, "Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." Ephesians 5:25. It further emphasizes, "He who loves his wife loves himself." After all, no one ever hated their own body, but they feed and care for their body just as Christ does the church. Ephesians 5:28-29. Love in marriage goes beyond feelings. It is a choice to honor your spouse by treating them with respect, kindness, and dignity. This commitment implies that spouses should love one another as they love themselves, investing in each other's happiness and well-being. Respect is reciprocal in marriage. Each partner deserves to be treated as a priority without feeling inferior or unworthy. Regardless of the people or circumstances surrounding you, your spouse should never be made to feel less significant. There should be no insults, belittling comments, or behaviors that degrade the other person. During disagreements, it can be tempting to say or do hurtful things. Always communicate with the goal of resolution and growth, rather than to win an argument. Show respect even when emotions run high. And remember that loving your spouse is an extension of loving yourself. Commitment. Lifelong marriage. Jesus said, "What God has joined together, let no one separate." Mark 10:9. Marriage is intended to be a lifelong union, founded on the principles of permanence and devotion. God expressed his disapproval of divorce, stating, "I hate divorce," Malachi 2:16. In order to honor this commitment, spouses must embrace the idea that marriage is a journey filled with both joys and trials, and that separating is not an option when difficulties arise. Marriage requires qualities such as patience, forgiveness, resilience, humility, and selflessness. These virtues help couples navigate through challenging times and maintain a strong bond. External pressures, temptations, and personal struggles may arise and challenge the marriage. Develop a habit of praying together, seeking spiritual growth, and supporting each other through life's ups and downs. Understand that problems are an opportunity for the marriage to grow stronger, not to tear it apart. Commitment 6. Protecting your spouse from sexual immorality. One of the essential commitments in marriage is sharing your body with your spouse. The Bible emphasizes this, stating, "The husband should fulfill his marital duty to his wife, and likewise the wife to her husband. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but yields it to her husband. In the same way, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but yields it to his wife." 1 Corinthians 7:3-4. This mutual submission means that each spouse's body belongs to the other, reflecting a commitment to meet each other's needs and preserve the purity and intimacy of the marriage. A key aspect of this commitment is protecting your spouse from falling into sexual temptation. Marriage provides a safe and honorable setting for fulfilling sexual desires, which are to be expressed freely, responsibly, and lovingly within the marital relationship. It's important for spouses to be there for each other in this way and not to shy away from expressing their needs. Neither spouse should feel like they have to beg for intimacy, as it is a fundamental part of the marriage covenant. Sexual intimacy isn't the only focus of marriage, but it is an indispensable part of it. Couples should make an effort to create time and find suitable moments for physical closeness. It's crucial not to use other responsibilities or unresolved disagreements as excuses to withhold intimacy from your spouse. Depriving your spouse of physical affection out of ignorance or as a form of punishment can create a dangerous distance between you and expose the marriage to temptations. The Bible warns against this, saying, "Do not deprive each other, except perhaps by mutual consent, and for a time, so that you may devote yourselves to prayer. Then come together again, so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control." 1 Corinthians 7:5. Planning time for intimacy is important, ensuring you prioritize your spouse's needs before temptations arise. It's also vital to resolve conflicts and settle anger beforehand, so that physical closeness can occur in a loving and peaceful atmosphere. Intimacy should be a source of joy, connection, and mutual satisfaction, not frustration or resentment. Honest communication about what feels pleasing and what does not is necessary to maintain a healthy sexual relationship. The act of surrendering your body to your spouse's authority also signifies that you no longer have the right to give yourself to anyone else or to deny your spouse's needs. Cheating is one of the greatest betrayals in marriage, breaking the commitment to be one flesh and causing profound harm. This commitment is a promise to stay faithful, understanding that your spouse has the primary right over your body, not you. In marriage, satisfaction is rooted in mutual contentment. When both spouses are dedicated to meeting each other's needs without comparing their partner to others, true satisfaction is possible. Lust will never be satisfied if contentment is not cultivated. Therefore, each spouse must commit to cherishing and valuing the other. This protects the marriage from harm and ensures that intimacy remains a life-giving, loving part of the relationship. Commitment. 7. Having and raising children together. Marriage is a lifelong journey that often brings the blessing of children. The Bible highlights the value of children as a gift from God. "Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb a reward." Psalm 127:3. Parenthood is a sacred responsibility and a calling entrusted to human beings by God as it fulfills His purpose for marriage, to be fruitful and multiply. Genesis 1:28. Raising children goes beyond providing for their physical needs. It involves nurturing them with love, protection, and moral and spiritual guidance. Parents have the duty to ensure that their children's basic needs are met, including food, shelter, clothing, education, medical care, and a safe, loving environment. More importantly, it is God's will for children to grow up knowing Him, worshiping Him, and following His ways. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 22:6. This commitment requires teaching them God's Word and helping them develop a strong faith. Being one flesh in marriage extends to having and raising children together. It is important that children are conceived and raised within the union of the couple and not with other partners. Depriving your spouse of the right to have children with you while sharing the responsibility of raising children is a betrayal of the marriage covenant. Such actions undermine the sacred bond of marriage and violate the commitment to remain faithful to your spouse. If you and your spouse agree to raise children from a previous relationship, that commitment is valuable and honorable. However, introducing children conceived outside of your marriage through infidelity is a breach of trust and a serious harm to the union. Faithfulness in this area is crucial for maintaining a healthy and thriving marriage. Commitment 8. Sharing all belongings. Being one flesh in marriage involves the commitment to share all possessions and resources. The Bible emphasizes the unity of spouses in marriage, saying, "The two shall become one flesh." Mark 10:8. This union goes beyond the physical bond to encompass every aspect of life, including the sharing of all belongings. If spouses are committed to giving themselves to each other, then sharing material possessions becomes a natural and important part of this covenant. Whether acquired before or during marriage, all properties should be considered jointly owned and managed together. While it is common for people to speak in terms of my money or my house, such distinctions do not change the reality that spouses are meant to have equal rights and freedom over their shared resources. Marriage is a partnership, and the well-being of one is tied to the well-being of the other. Generosity within the marriage should take priority, as spouses should gladly share what they have with one another. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. Philippians 2:4. This principle is especially relevant in marriage, where sharing is an expression of love, trust, and unity. Spouses must approach financial matters with openness, generosity, and fairness, ensuring that all decisions are made in the best interest of the marriage and family. Differing attitudes towards money can create conflict. Maintain open communication about finances and establish a budget that reflects shared goals. Avoid secrecy and consider each other's opinions on major purchases or investments. Commitment 9. Serving your spouse. Jesus taught, "Whoever desires to become great among you, let him be your servant." Matthew 20:26. In marriage, serving your spouse is a powerful act of love and humility. It means prioritizing their needs, offering assistance, and going out of your way to show kindness. Service in marriage isn't about being a subordinate, but about expressing love through selfless acts that demonstrate care. The demands of daily life may make it easy to neglect acts of service. Look for small ways to serve your spouse every day, whether by helping with tasks, giving a listening ear, or showing physical affection. Commitment 10. Comforting your spouse. The Bible assures us that God comforts us in all our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble. 2 Corinthians 1:3-4. This commitment calls spouses to be a source of comfort and support for one another during life's difficult moments. It involves listening, empathizing, and standing by each other as a refuge and source of strength. It can be difficult to comfort each other when both partners are facing individual challenges. Be intentional in comforting your spouse. Sometimes, just being present and offering a gentle touch or kind word is enough to provide relief. In conclusion, marriage is a lifelong blessing and a sacred covenant that flourishes when couples commit to living as one flesh. The 10 commitments discussed, living together, leaving parents, contentment, honoring and loving, lifelong devotion, protecting against immorality, parenting together, sharing possessions, serving, and comforting, serve as guiding principles to help spouses achieve this unity. When these commitments are honored, a marriage reflects the love and purpose God intended from the beginning. By dedicating yourselves to these principles, you can build a marriage that withstands life's trials, grows stronger over time, and serves as a testament to God's love and design for the family. Youth planning to get married and married couples alike are encouraged to adopt and honor these commitments in order to experience the joy and fulfillment that comes from a marriage that truly honors God. If you found this content helpful, please support our channel by subscribing, liking, sharing, and leaving a comment below. Together, we can inspire others to build stronger marriages based on biblical principles.